and now all of a sudden everybody's seeing it, including the media. We now have to answer for that decision. And what's my answer going to be? Well, did I just rub his back because he's my best friend, or did I really hire the best person for this position? And so I think the solution that you're asking, if I'm understanding the question correctly, is accountability and how do we bring that back? And one of the best ways is to live stream those meetings, go to the counties, and just present on Facebook and social media and share it. And in Morgan County, it worked. They actually started streaming their own meetings because people were raising questions about it. If you want to talk more specifically about Morgan County, Danny Lundy's a great guy to talk to about that because he started that program. And now they are, as a government, streaming their own meetings.
What was that last name?
Danny Lundy, Lundy. Any other questions? Concerns?
Yeah, come on, anybody feel free, but, constitution-wise, I know libertarians tend to be strong constitutionalists.
Correct.
But how is that conveyed? Because what I'm finding is that not everybody understands
It's true. Most people haven't even read the Constitution or understand the rights. And there's a lot in there. I have to review it every once in a while myself to look back and see what our forefathers intended. And we're looking at what they intended. How does it actually apply today? But as libertarians, we strongly believe in things like the Second Amendment, where gun rights shall not be infringed. And I believe the forefathers wrote that as intended. It shall not be infringed. And we are seeing those things infringed, so we got to fight back on some of those. And again, with freedom of speech, same idea, right? So when it was written, it was intended that we have free speech, which sometimes means that we can say things that are uncomfortable and maybe not well taken. But the idea is that bad ideas will go away, good ideas will be used. And when we encourage freedom of speech, we can see why bad ideas are bad ideas. And we don't have to censor it. We can truly discern and debate these ideas. And so as a libertarian, we definitely want to go back to the Constitution and see how our forefathers intended what they wrote, and as a nation, what that means for us today.
So part of your goal then is to speak to the infringements that we are experiencing.
Correct. And I believe that most of our rights are being infringed, especially, like I said, the medical one is huge for me. I think medical freedom, whether you're pro-vaxxer or not, that's not really the issue. The issue is politicians shouldn't be making these decisions for you. If you want a vaccination, go ahead and get one. If you don't feel it's right for you and that substance isn't good going into your body, that should be only your decision. But politicians are constantly trying to make those decisions, and to me, that's being a fake physician, right? Like, when we go to a physician, we see their qualifications, we can see what college they went to, we can see that their certs are up to date. But politicians don't have any of these qualifications, so why are they making these medical decisions? And we gotta look at constantly why politicians think that they have the qualifications to do these things. And again, freedom of speech, we see it constantly being infringed on. We have the right to say stupid ideas. That's part of America. But those stupid ideas are going to be presented as stupid ideas if we can have healthy debates about them.
So speaking of qualifications, can you speak more to your qualifications?
Yeah, definitely. So I have not run for public office yet, but I am a behavior therapist. And so with that, I look at the education part of that and how I change behaviors and aspects of community. And when we're talking about political office, what qualifies you is that you're going to represent who your constituents are, right? So it's not about, what others think it is as far as like, oh, you have to have this amount of service, or you have to have this and this behind you. It's really about how you represent Hoosiers and who you are as a Hoosier. And so when we look at the representation of qualifications, we're going to see that who best represents us as a people. And often that is individuals who can perform in fields that are not your typical fields. So mine's a healthcare field, and we have business leaders that runner's office, we have doctors, but we need a wide variety of people. And so the actual qualifications is pretty much representing your constituents, and that I am well qualified to do.
And I guess I don't know if this helps you or not, but for me, I don't really care about the degrees
Mhm.
that political party individuals have or whatever, I'm kind of over all of that. Or how much money they've got in the bank, any of that. I wanna know that they're freedom fighters. I wanna know that they appreciate the Christian worldview and will help protect my rights.
100%. You said it right. So the degrees don't matter, and that's what I'm trying to get at is who's going to best represent those values, whether they're the Christian values. And with that being said, as libertarians, we believe you have the religious freedom, right? And so that's another freedom that we have. And who's not going to infringe on that? Right now, we had Holcomb infringe upon many churches, right? So the mask mandate, he closed down churches and allowed, abortion centers to still be open. Is that representing most of Hoosiers? I'd argue no. I'd argue that it's not representing the freedom of religion, which libertarians do strongly believe in. As far as religious aspects, we fight for all freedoms for all religions. But the idea is that applies very much to the Christians and the churches that are open there. So yeah, definitely representing that freedom of able to worship and how you want to worship.
So what I'm saying is, those are the things that I'm listening for.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm looking at new candidates and stuff, what is their heart? Because, and I believe you have a heart for this, and I'm not suggesting that, but, not that the things you're running on aren't important to me, they are very much so, but I think this is gonna be a battle, and I think we're in the midst of it, and that if we don't have people willing to stand, to live or die, then we're gonna lose the battle.
And you're exactly right. It's a battle of hearts, and it's a battle of who's going to take care of their neighbors. And I believe that's what I found in the Libertarian Party. We're about community. We're about that growth. We're about bringing in community, and we're talking about the homeless and how to bring meals to the homeless. We're trying to bring that heart and passion back to politics. And that's something the Republicans and Democrats are doing. They're just politicians. We care about our communities. We care about that heart aspect. And that's definitely important, and I appreciate you bringing that up.
I appreciate your time and willingness to answer these questions.
Definitely. Anybody else have?
I have a question.
Yeah, definitely.
So in my experience talking with a lot of Republicans specifically, they have a fear that switching to the Libertarian Party or even considering their ideas is going to be taking votes away from the Republican Party and thus strengthening the Democratic Party. So what would you say to those people to help them feel better about supporting the Libertarian Party and not feel like they're just supporting the Democrats and they're actually just supporting an institution that stands on its own?
Right. So the argument is that if you vote Libertarian, whether you're Republican or whether you're Democrat, you're actually helping the other side. And the idea is that they presented Libertarianism as a wasted vote. But I ask you right now to look at your current vote if you're a Republican or even a Democrat, and do you really feel that it's valued at this moment? And so that goes back to even like Holcomb's policies, and do you really truly feel like that it's representing you as a Hoosier? And with Holcomb specifically, I pointed out the religious aspect where he closed churches. He's not representing Hoosiers, and so I want to look at your vote currently, and I feel that it's just as wasted going to the Republican Party. So why not try some fresh, modern approach that actually has backing, and we can actually win elections now, and try something different, because what we keep doing is the same thing over and over, and it's beginning to be the definition of insanity, right? So it's not working, and it's not working for Hoosiers, and if you truly don't want to waste your vote, try something new and see if it changes it.
I guess in a follow-up question to that, how does your platform stand out against the Republican platforms? I know there's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of differences especially when it comes down to the nuances of individual liberties and rights.
So with the Republican Party, I argue it's a lot of lip service, right? And I think I talked to you a little bit. My background originally came from more of a Republican Party side, and a lot of my principles come from that. But the reality is like, I realize it's a lot of lip service. And so the people I'm voting for, even when they control the House, the Senate, and whether it's the Republican or whether it's the presidential, which has happened both in my lifetime, they never changed what they said they were going to. They never changed, the fiscal responsibility. I mean, we've seen budget increases in every president since, I'm gonna count back, it's quite a few presidents right now, I think it's 5, that we've seen astronomical budget increases. So when we're looking at the differences, I believe that libertarians are more of the lip service. We're about community, we're about helping you guys, and we're going to do the groundwork, which is what we're doing right now. And we're bringing in new votes, which the Republicans and Democrats currently aren't. If you're looking at who's voting currently, this is why we have the oldest Senate. It's because they're only appealing to the older voters. We need to appeal to the newer generation, and that's something libertarians are going to do. We're gonna bring in the new votes, and we're gonna bring in the new ideas that Republicans currently aren't reaching. They're not reaching the new generations. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Alright, anything else? It was a pleasure meeting you guys. If you want